not be victims of such barbaric acts.
We also have lawyer to continue the discussion on marriage, but he will definitely have to add his voice on the rape case.
You are right, but before lawyer comes in with comment, let's take the quote for the day.
Welcome to the legal segment on Teens Time with lawyer Edwin Kusiapia. Welcome.
Thank you, Carmen.
My name is Carmen, and on the legal segment today we'll be discussing marriages and how it affects us. So lawyer, you have educated us on what marriage is and the types. So what else do you have to say on marriage?
Yes, thank you for having me, Carmen. For the past few weeks we have been talking about the different types of marriages, like you said, and I explained that there's traditional marriage, there's the marriage by ordinance, and then there's the Mohammedan's marriage. Before then we spoke about traditional marriage, so today we want to talk about marriage by ordinance. The marriage by ordinance are the marriages that are done at the Registrar General's department. So sometimes you go to the Registrar General's department, you see that people have worn white and their best suit. They are coming to marry there. It is also the type of marriage that is done in the churches, the white weddings that we also see. There are two ways in which the marriage can be done. Like I said, at the Registrar General's department under a registrar's certificate, or at church under a marriage officer's certificate. So we take the two and then we see the process for how it is done. If marriage is to be done under the Registrar General's certificate, if a man and a woman decide to marry, they go to the Registrar General's department and they tell them that we want to marry. The registrar will satisfy himself that none of the parties is already married, because as we go on we will discover that the marriage by ordinance is a very jealous type of marriage. It doesn't allow any type of marriage. So if you're already married, even by tradition, you cannot marry again. So the registrar will satisfy himself that the two, neither of them is married. When he is satisfied in that accord, he will write in the marriage book that Mr. So-so and so and Madam So-so and so intend to marry. And then the book will be available and will also be pasted on the notice board. So it is important that people by and by will pass by the Registrar General's department to determine whether their husbands or boyfriends' names are not on the notice board to be married. Now, when the 2 weeks or so that the notice is pasted there expires, then the registrar, if nobody comes and says that these people cannot marry, then the registrar will go ahead and issue a certificate which will last for 3 months, within which the two parties must marry. Then they will go to the registrar, the man, the woman, their witnesses. The registrar will pronounce the marriage. There's a portion on the marriage register where we sign, a portion where the woman will sign, a portion where their witnesses will sign, a portion where the registrar of marriages will sign. And then when they are done, the certificate is given to them. If they marry under the marriage officer's register, which is the type we see in the churches most of the time, again they go to their priest and say, or pastor and say, oh, we are going to marry. The first thing is you must note that the pastor or the priest has the power to marry them. So he's a proper marriage officer. The law has made him a marriage officer. So it's not every person who celebrates a marriage that will deem the marriage to be valid if he's not a marriage officer. And secondly, the place that you're doing the marriage must be a registered place, a place where they have registered to marry. Not all churches have been registered. So if your church is not registered and you go and marry there, your marriage is also not very valid. Now when you are married under the marriage officer's register, as I have said, you go to your pastor, you tell the pastor, I want to marry. And the pastor will also put it on the notice board of the church, or will publish what we call the banns. So at church, you hear them say, this man, son of this person, is going to marry this lady, son and daughter of this person.